Quincy Stewart in the house.
Yep.
This is where we wear lots of hats, man. And you just told me not too long ago you wear a lot of hats. You're teaching and you're preaching, and you're down at city council. My mom tells me you'd be down.
Yeah.
You doing everything, man. I love that. I love that we both staying busy at least
Yeah,
doing something.
man. Yeah, senior citizens.
Yeah. So did you are you from Pontiac or did you grow up someplace else? I think I met you later in life during high school. I don't think I met you in elementary school. I'm not sure
Uh,
though.
you went to Northern, right?
Yep, yep. You went to Central,
Well,
right?
yeah, yep. The real school.
You know they're gonna hear this. You didn't
I
go
don't
to
care.
real school.
All the chiefs will support me on that.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. But yeah, so you went to Central and you came out. Did you? Would you always ask? I mean, always wanted to be a musician and be a professional musician at that time, or were you thinking about being a scientist or astrologist, or what was your goals when you growing up?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I think I always wanted to have something to do with music, even when I was a little kid. Back in I remember in '64 when the Beatles first came on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Okay.
I started taking the little shades out of my out of the shade that comes on and acting like it was a guitar and stand in front of the mirror. So I've kind of and then when I went to Grand Valley for some odd no reason I wanted to go into archaeology for a hot minute, uh,
Okay.
and that didn't pan out.
So you realized that at an early age, that music is the thing you want to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was your first instruments you were playing?
Uh, well, the very very first instrument was piano.
Okay.
And then when I got into the fifth grade and I started playing the cornet.
Okay. Okay. And is it? Did you choose those instruments because you was inspired by someone else, or other musicians, or other bands that you've seen?
I did not choose the cornet. I told my mother. You remember Grinnell's,
Okay. Yeah, I do.
and so my mother went to Grinnell's, and she asked me what I wanted to get. The band director was named Mr. Kenyon at Franklin Elementary School, and
Okay.
I said I wanted a saxophone. So I'm expecting this saxophone to come back, and then she brings me back this old ugly little cornet, little tiny cornet with three valves on it. There's some plumbing. I said, I don't want this. She said, well, either you take this or I'm taking this back because I can't afford a saxophone. So I played trumpet by default.
Oh, but you won the sax.
I wanted a sax at the time, but now I'm as grateful as I can be that I played the trumpet.
That is so cool because I wanted the sax too. I went through all the classes, early class, to learn how to notes, play notes, and everything. And I said I want to play sax. Told my parents, they said we can't afford a sax, so I guess I
Yeah,
had to jump out of class because I couldn't continue on. So I could, my parents couldn't afford it. But
yeah,
I wanted to play sax so bad. My
yep.
girl was talking about, I buy you a sax. No, I'm too old to try to learn play a
Look,
sax.
man, let me tell you, man, saxophone is, and I know the saxophone player's going to, they're going to hate me for this one, but it's one of the easiest instruments in the world to play. It's like,
Really? Okay.
yeah, man, sax is really easy. I mean, it just is. Now, playing it well is not, but to play the saxophone is very, very, very easy. Very easy.
Okay. I found a violin in a house I bought one time, and I couldn't play it at all. But then I found you turn to the edge, and then okay, I can make sound out of this. Okay, that's how they do it. Because I thought they were just laying it flat and playing
Yeah.
across the strings, but yeah. And I tried the flute too, and how you got to blow it and adjust it. So yeah, I understand how that can be. But sax always was my
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Well,
what
for me,
instruments?
for me, when I went to Oakland and got my music degree,
Uh huh.
um, uh, we had to play every instrument, and I had to take a semester of reeds, a semester of low brass, high brass, violins.
Uh
So
huh.
I had to play every instrument, and I did real well with everything, but I couldn't play violin worth a darn. I could play the bass and the cello pretty well, but the violin I couldn't play. The oboe I was sucked at, and the bassoon was even worse.
Okay, so who are some of the musicians or bands that shaped you, got you to where you are? Because you could have went to polka, you could have went to folk music, you could have done all kinds of R&B, whatever. Who are some of the bands or musicians that
Well,
molded you?
when I first started, it was the Beatles. I mean, when I first got really interested, it was the Beatles. I watched all the cartoons on Saturday morning. I was a big Beatles fan. I wanted to be the quiet one. I wanted to be George.
Okay.
So so back then, it was the Beatles, and then once I grew up and got out of that, then I mean, at that point, man, it was all the funk bands, man. I mean, James Brown, Tower of Power.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Delphonics, the Dramatics, later on, Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago. And I was into Bob Dylan because he was a great lyricist. Because I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
I like lyrics, so I liked all the great lyricists too. Cat Stevens,
Mm-hmm.
all the great lyricists. Joni Mitchell. I love lyrics. I love great lyricists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what part of being a musician surprised you the most since we've been in the game for a while? What if you had to tell someone else who's getting into the business, what kind of threw you like I didn't know that I didn't see that coming or that just threw me. I just as a musician. What
Business,
surprise?
business,
Business. Oh, stabbing in the back or
business. Well, the business period. There are people like me, who are very. I'm a very creative person.
okay.
But when it came down to the business of it, and I mean, like I ran a band for 13 years, Ujima Jazz Ensemble, and I ran that band, and I learned a lot about the business from that. But
Mm-hmm.
I hate the business end. And so, but it's so necessary, man. It's because it's a trade. So I would warn anybody, if anybody listen to this, if you're young, you're trying to get into music, of course, perfect your craft, get as much technique as you can,
Of course.
study as much as you can. But man, oh man, get the business down. I mean, learn about the business, about ASCAP, BMI. Make sure you get that copyright laws, publishing, how people will jip you on writing a song, and then they'll change 3 or 4 words and get all your money. So I mean, these are all things that that I was oblivious to. I was just happily creating songs and writing songs and playing, and didn't really understand the business like I should.
Excuse me. Hmm. Well, I like what you're saying. Tell me some of the things that some moments on stage or moments in the studio that change your approach on music, or maybe what is your style when it comes to being on stage? I know when the band is hitting and everybody's hitting on the one and everybody's tight, like you mentioned Tower Power and James Brown, and there's just like a spirit that kind of goes from from the band to the audience, and the audience feeds back to you, and it's going back and forth. Tell me about some times like that. I mean, in the studio, it's true enough too, because you got your headphones, and you can hear everything. But on a live audience, tell me about your feelings about that. And I don't think there's nothing greater, but let me hear your side of the story.
Man, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more about. I mean, the studio. I've had some thrills in the studio, but they were more. It was kind of like more. It was almost narcissistic. I was enjoying my own self.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, but the when I was in Switzerland playing for the Montreux Jazz Festival,
Mm-hmm.
and we were playing, I think that was one of the greater thrills. I mean, we were playing in the casino where Miles Davis and everybody's playing. All these couple of thousand people were out there, and
Uh-huh.
they were digging us. And then when we opened for Spiral Gyra at the Grand Rapids Civic Center, that was a big thrill. And then when I opened up for Isaac Hayes here in Pontiac, that was a big thrill. Um, but then there have been so many times where I've sat in with a band down at back at Burt's or wherever, and I'm having a moment where I click with the band. I've
Mm-hmm.
had so many moments like that that it's hard to pinpoint. It all depends on my frame of mind and the frame of mind of people that I'm playing with. Beyond the technique, there's that spiritual aspect,
Right,
you know,
right, right.
and you got to get yourself out of the way. If you go down there thinking that I don't know if you can't curse on here, I'm sure, but if you're the stuff, and you think you're the stuff, and you go down there with that kind of attitude, it comes out in your horn. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much technique you have. If your mind is not in the right spot, and there's some humility there that you're there to contribute and not to be the star of the show, you'll screw everything up, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree. So you tell me about some of your how do you balance this out? How do you balance out your creativity with business? You just mentioned that you you don't like the business aspect of it. So how do you balance it? Because we wear several hats, you got several buttons to push. You got a lot of things to control. You've been in charge of a band. How does Quincy Stewart balance that all out?
Did you? I'm not clear. You mean like balance out taking care of the business of music
Yeah,
and
and staying sane.
hey, yeah. Well,
Getting
I would
somebody.
say outside of the music, outside of all that, just staying sane without even discussing music is a goal for me. But to be honest, man, I've been fairly inactive in terms of I'm about to be very active, but I've been active because education has really permeated my life to the point where I don't get out and perform as much as I used to. The school thing really takes up an enormous amount of my time, as you know. Uh, 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 Trying to interview today, doing this interview today,
Yeah,
I was at school all the way till 6 something, doing after school band.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
however, in answer to your question, in the future, because of my age and where I'm at, I am putting a band back together as a
Okay.
cliche, getting the band back together. But this is, and I'm doing a whole new kind of music that people are not familiar with me so much, unless they got my first album, Pathological, many years ago. They know me as a jazz musician, but I've since gotten rid of that label. I don't consider myself a jazz musician. I'm a musician, and I like
Okay.
all kinds of music, and so I'm about to express that in these later years of my life to get back to the funk, get back to the R&B, get back to the and I've been doing a lot of writing, an enormous amount of writing,
Okay.
and so I'm really excited about that. So when I go back, I'll have a better idea about business, a whole lot better about business.
Is it like when Jazz Crusaders change over to just the Crusaders,
Yep.
something like that?
Well, Quincy Stewart, jazz musicians turn over to Quincy Stewart.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So, what's the biggest lesson you learned about in your musical journey? So you have to go through different trials, and you got to jump over a lot of different hurdles. What's the biggest thing to say, man? That brought me where I need to be at. That biggest lesson.
Um, I would say the biggest lesson I've learned in music is to have confidence.
Okay.
Um, to be quite honest, for over the years, despite my little image that I seem to have at times, I lacked a lot of confidence. I was always constantly asking Mrs. Stewart or anybody else, "How did I sound? Did I do okay?" Always checking in to be affirmed by someone else. And if someone else said I was good, okay, I felt good. If somebody was to say, "Well," so I was always looking for affirmation. Now I just don't care. I mean, I play and I write, and if people dig it, they good. If they don't, then they don't.
Okay. So that tells me about your playing in your mindset. You've got that fixed so that you agree with your channels and who you check with. Because I don't think nobody's really gonna tell you, oh, you didn't sound so good or whatever. I mean, unless your wife might tell you
No,
based on what she's heard.
let me tell you, there are some people out there who will tell you you don't sound good. If you go down to Burt's on a Friday night, or you go down to them where some of them cats where they cutting each other, some of the real players,
I've been down there.
right? And
Yeah,
you get up there and you're sad. Somebody gonna let you know either verbally or non-verbally that you were sad.
yeah. Well, how do you feel about the AI stuff now? The people creating music. I mean, it started, I guess, with sequence music, but they just it's changed the game. What's your spin on that?
Well, surprisingly, most people would expect me to be a purist about that, but I must tell you that I have lately been using AI to uh, certainly not to use it to put anything out, but I've been using AI to kind of expedite the process of creativity, where I can write these really nice lyrics, put it through AI, get a general idea of what it is I want to do, and then go back to the piano and do it myself. I think the difference is between the non-musician who goes on AI and creates, quote unquote, a song, and then they put it out there, but they can't go back and play it. If you create something and you can't play it, then to me you delegitimize yourself as an artist. You should be able to play what you create. If you can't play what you create, then that's where AI becomes a problem for me.
It's just a tool, technically. I
Yeah,
mean, it should enhance what a lot of people hate on it. I've been immersing myself, immersing myself
me
into
too.
AI so deep,
Me
man.
too.
We need to talk later. We'll compare notes and see what you learn about it. But I'm heavy into it, man. I really love what's changed the game. So in your teaching, do you talk about some of these things and the changes that have been made
Oh yeah.
in your teaching?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, another point of confession. You know how I got hip to all this? My
Okay,
students.
okay, okay.
They taught me. They taught my old behind about AI. I said, Mr. Stewart, because we were messing around on the computer and and going on sites to learn about music notation.
Uh huh.
And so they said, Mr. Stewart, listen to this. Press. I'm like, what is this? You did that? They said, well, yeah, I put the lyrics in, and I did this, and I said, wow. I said, where did you get that at? And that's so my students taught me.
Hmm. Yeah, my uncle was doing. He had hired a band to do his music and stuff. He's just a singer, and then he came back this year and tried AI. I said, "Man, you still on the same. You're killing the game. You sound great. You sound really good." So I don't know where this is going to take us, but I know we went from horse and buggies to cars. We went from regular rotary phones to cell phones. So it should just be better. Even better than what it is.
I agree up to this point. And this is where the purist comes out. This is where the 68-year-old man who, is this. Again, it's a tool, but I think when we start putting stuff out there and you're really not an artist in the sense of you just put some words in, not even good words, just, not even a good lyricist. You just put some junk in and AI creates this great thing for you. And I would hate to see somebody build a career from that, because when you do that, you're taking away the element of, can you perform it?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're performers. Can you perform this? Can you play this? And that's where I draw the line. I think it's great to create. And I think with my students, it inspires them to create. But I always put them in. I said, what chord is that they're playing? Is it what's the chord quality? Is it minor? Is it major? Is it diminished?
Okay.
Is it augmented? At least tell me what the quality of the chords are.
Yeah, they won't be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some of them do. Yeah.
Well, if they're using AI, I mean, it doesn't even mention those type of things. It just creates it and say,
No,
here you
but they
go,
can hear
and
it.
spits it out. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Well, so what are some of the weird or strangest things that you've seen on stage? You've been on a lot of stages. What's something that you just never seen before? You just, wow.
A nude beach.
A nude beach. Okay, so you played a gig at a nude beach.
I played a gig at again. We were in Switzerland. The third day we were there, after we played the casino, we ended up playing in this big high tower, and in the high tower was below us was people buck naked walking around listening to us play music.
And everybody stayed on point. Everybody, no band was still. Nobody stopped playing.
Well, man, at the time I was 26 years old, so yes, I was on point.
Okay.
I did notice it.
All right. And so, what's the funniest thing you've seen on stage?
Funniest thing I've seen on stage?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's hard to say because I've seen a whole lot of funny things, but I would say the funniest thing I've seen on stage is probably I don't know, man. It's really hard to say. I mean, funny would be. As far as I'm concerned, some of the funniest thing I've seen on stage is my own musicians.
Okay.
Particularly with Ujima. We were all friends from high school. Avery Hatchett, Michael Herron,
Yep.
myself, Bruce Washington. You remember Bruce played bass?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah, right. So among ourselves, we were about the silliest, some of the silliest, craziest stuff, man. That just joking on stage and talking about each other and
Yeah, yeah,
four-letter words all the time and
yeah.
pranks. And so I would say, and we did some of that on stage, but the audience didn't know it, you know.
No, of course not. Of
Yep.
course not. Of course not. So, have you seen fights, fist fights? Have you seen any fist fight? You got somebody cutting grass at your house? Is that
Yeah,
going on?
man. Yeah, man.
Because on my end, I'm pushing buttons.
Yeah, man. It's bad timing. It's like real bad timing.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, I've never seen a fist fight on stage. Ever. I've never. As a matter of fact, I've never seen a fist fight in. Well, I take that back. We played. I played at a place called. No, downtown Pontiac. No,
Was that in the
no. I was
audience?
gonna say I saw a fist fight at JD McGee's, but no, it was me.
How did you get
It was
into
me
it?
in the fist fight. So no. Other than that, no.
Somebody touch your instrument and say, "Let me play your instrument. Let me
No.
wear your hat."
Yeah, whole nother story. We don't want to go there.
Microphone,
Yeah,
like that.
this ain't that kind of broadcast, but yeah,
I've seen all of that.
yeah.
So, if you, a lot of people are going to be watching this. Let's say you're elementary students, which you kind of talked about before. What are some encouraging things that they want to follow in your footsteps that you would tell? We're going to do high school first, then we'll do college graduates, then we're going to do people who didn't go to any college at all, have no training, but they want to be a professional musician. So let's do that.
Okay.
What advice would you give them?
On the elementary level, I would say. On the elementary level, I would say, um, get get on recorder as fast as possible. Third grade, second grade, even in first grade, parents have your kids do orth instruments. Playing the orth, and they go straight to recorder. And by fifth grade, your child should have an instrument in their hand, an actual instrument by fifth grade. For middle school,
Now, the
final,
recorder is that black
your
flip,
little
right?
plastic
So
flip,
the audience will know
right,
that. Yeah.
right, and that will teach you about pitch and harmony, because some of the books that they come out with have where you're playing in harmony, so you're able to open up your harmonic senses and understand harmony
Okay.
and melody and rhythm. Then in middle school, at that point, you should have at least one year to a year and a half of playing on an actual instrument by the fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
That point, when you get to middle school, find a really good band teacher who really try not to get a band teacher who doesn't perform. You want a band teacher that actually has performed, because
Okay.
they'll bring that to the classroom, and they'll have the teaching sense to not be so rigid in their teaching. And kids who are very creative and want to try different instruments, a rigid band teacher will say, no, don't do this, don't do that. You want to have a band teacher that has an expansive understanding of education and allows children to create,
Okay. All right.
because you don't want to kill the creative process. At high school, by the time you get to high school, you should be going to MSBOA, Michigan State Band, or you should be going and participating in stuff like that, and so you understand the competitive nature. And in high school, you should be playing college level music. In the 10th grade, you should be playing something that's first year college, like sight reading, ear training. Lots of ear training, like what I mentioned earlier about knowing the quality of a chord. I should be able to sit down at a piano with any musician that's worth their salt, and they blindfold. I play a chord, and you can tell me, is it minor? Is it major? Is it diminished? Is it augmented?
All right.
You might not be able to tell me what key it's in. Some can if you got perfect pitch, but to do that, so and participate in jazz band. Start writing. So I mean, if that's you really want to be a musician, if it's just a hobby, then that's
Okay.
yeah. I'm
So
talking
what
about
about
serious.
the college student who just got out of college and wants to do this professionally and continue? What would you tell
Ooh.
them?
Well, the
They
good
want to
news.
get their masters, get their doctorates, or
Yeah.
they say,
Well, the good news about college now, particularly in urban areas like Detroit and other places, I have a student that she's graduating from Berklee College of Music next year, but she's right. The college is right in an area where you walk out the door and there are people playing at this place, this club. Go sit in. I don't care how sorry you think you are. Go. Now, once you graduate from college, you should have had as many experiences outside the classroom as you have in. Matter of fact, it should be more.
mm-hmm.
Miles Davis dropped out of Juilliard because at that time it was Charlie Parker on West 53rd. It was Dizzy Gillespie. It was Bud Powell. It was, all these cats. He dropped out. He said, man, my best education is right here standing next to Bird.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in college, don't spend all your time in the classroom. Like at Wayne State, if you're at Wayne State, get out and go to Burt's. Go to Dirty Dog. Go sit in and get your clock cleaned by some of these veterans. And if they're worth their salt, they'll put their arm around you after they beat your behind musically and say, okay, man, that was cool, man. Come on back down. Learn a little bit more. Come on back. So there's no excuse for a college student now to really excel because of all of these colleges right in the middle of inner city hubs, right there in Detroit. You got Wayne State right there, right in Detroit.
Yeah.
How can you lose?
And for the person that has no training at all, but they got a lot of good ear training, what would you tell them? Go start learning how to read, or get with some great bands, or just go listen, train your ear more? What's your take on that?
Jimi Hendrix couldn't read. Wes Montgomery couldn't read. Bix Beiderbecke couldn't read. Louis Armstrong in the beginning wasn't a good reader. I can go on and on and on about the people who can't read music because, to be honest with you, reading music, although it's very good, it is a European concept. In Africa, which is what they call it, which named after Africa News, which is. But in Africa, they weren't reading music. They were making music. They were creating. And so I would say for somebody who doesn't read music, I think it's good that you should learn to read music. I do. It's helped me a lot. But don't let that stop you from being creative. Just create. Just create. But you do it every day. If you love it, no one has to tell you to do it every day.
Okay, true. That's true. They got this thing they talk about, a Detroit sound. I'm almost sure you probably heard people say that when you go various places around the country,
yep,
and maybe out of the country. When I hear people say that, I never know what and I've asked many other musicians on this show, what is that Detroit sound? Can you describe that Detroit sound for others listening to this show?
No.
I can't either. So what you talking about, Detroit sound? Certain beat, certain pitch?
No. You know what? Let me tell you something, man. I think there's a certain kind of parochialism about music, and that we would like to create a narrative that somehow geography influences a particular approach to music. But a G minor 7 is a G minor 7 in Mississippi as it is in Guam. And so to me, I don't think there is a Detroit sound. I think, though, when now outside of the jazz realm, if you look at Motown, now there is a distinctive approach to music. To music when you think about the Motown. Motown had a distinctive approach. It's almost reminiscent of Berry Gordy's experiences in the automobile manufacturing. It was almost mechanical. Almost, if you listen to Motown, it's almost like it's kind of mechanical. Some of it, the way they approach it. So maybe that the approach might be a little different, but nah, there is no Detroit sound. I don't buy it.
On that same note, blues in Chicago is different than blues in New York versus blues in LA versus blues in New Orleans versus blues in Tennessee. Would you agree with that section right there?
I do.
So this is a New Orleans blues, or this is a Chicago blues, or this is
But once again, there is an anthropological explanation for that, and I would say that in Chicago, you got to understand, at the turn of the century, a lot of the musicians, even Louis Armstrong, when he was with King Oliver, King Oliver came to Chicago and brought that New Orleans approach and sound to Chicago. And so that the Big Four, the Big Four beat, the approach to music, they brought that to Chicago, and it became a hybrid of what was going on there. And the same thing in Los Angeles. I mean, during the 1940s, a lot of black people moved out west. So really, it all emanates from the South. It all emanates from the plantation, from slavery, and then from slavery back to Africa and Ghana. The ring shouts, the field hollers, all these things, the gula, all of that has been kind of just redistributed. That has been redistributed throughout the nation, and when it landed on whatever was there, and became a hybrid of whatever was there. It kind of cross pollinated, if you would. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I don't think yes, Chicago blues is different from New Orleans, but there's New Orleans influence in Chicago.
Yes.
And in L.A.
And New York.
And New York.
And all in between. Right?
And all in between.
People try to label it. I listen, but almost like doing different dances. This is the Chicago hustle. This is the Detroit, New York hustle. Or something. They're doing these dances.
Again, it's all boils down to approach, not the quintessential understanding of music. A G minor 7 is a G minor 7, no matter where you go. It's how you hit the G minor 7 and where you place it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Articulating. Okay.
Yep. That's right. Mm-hmm.
So you met a lot of famous people. Tell me about three famous people that you've met and you were delighted to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to meet them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. When I was again, I keep going back to Switzerland. I met Harold Land and I met Nat Adderley. And those are I was so honored to meet Nat Adderley in particular because he's brother of Cannonball Adderley and outstanding cornetist. And then I met Harold Land, who had played with Clifford Brown. And so I did an embarrassing thing. We were in a souvenir shop. And when I saw Harold Land, I dropped out. Now, keep in mind, I was 25, 26 years old, kind of a half grown and half idiot. And I got down on one knee and said, Mr. Harold Land, I'm so pleased to meet you. And I did this whole presentation. And he was embarrassed. And he said, boy, get your ass up. You're embarrassing. Basically, I'm embarrassing him, Harold Land, and then to be honest, man, one of the most beautiful people I ever met was Isaac Hayes.
Okay, where'd you meet him at?
I opened up for him at the Phoenix Center, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And man, the dude came over to our dressing room, man, and he came over, man. He was so great, and my son was with me too. He came over, man. He was so gracious and said, "Man, I'm gonna be listening. You guys have a great show." And he just was so gracious, to be such an icon. He was one of the most gracious stars I've ever met. As far as that, I've met lots of people, but Isaac Hayes stands out as one of the kindest, more non-egotistical, non-narcissistic artists that I've met. I would say Harold Land, Nat Adderley, Isaac Hayes, and of course Hank Jones from Pontiac when he came.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, which is weird to me as a musician, people will come and ask you for your autograph. I'm sure they do that same to you. How do you feel when they ask you, "Can I have your autograph?"
Nobody asked me for my autograph.
What?
Not really. I mean, every now and then. Yeah, but no.
Doesn't it feel weird? It's like you want mine?
No, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I enjoy it when it happens, man. But what they're saying to you is I so admire you.
Yes.
And what you're doing and what you brought to me artistically that I want some indication physically, because that's what handwriting is, physically, that I met you and I'll cherish that. I don't find that to be, I would be honored to, when I do have signed a few, I was honored to do it. It made me feel good, and I made me feel good that I made them feel good, and that they think enough to want my signature, which is, to me, worthless, but it means something to them.
It meant something to them. So, you've met a lot of great people. Being on stage, is there anybody you didn't really get along, or just thought they were rude, or If you don't want to mention it,
No, I will.
I've had other people mention other people who they thought was kind of rude. But,
Frankie Beverly.
okay.
Yeah, Frankie Beverly and his whole crew. They were,
The whole crew.
yeah, the whole crew. They were really assholes to me. They treated my band badly. We were opening for them, and they sent their drummer out to do a 1 hour sound check while when we were supposed to play. You know how you hit the bass drum, doom,
Yeah.
doom, doom. Never tested the snare, nothing. Just doom while we were supposed to play. And the whole audience was yelling at them like, "We want Quincy to go on. We want Quincy." They were angry. Sandy McDonald tried to get him to stop, and he sat in his dressing room and allowed that to go on. And so Frankie Beverly, without question, unequivocally, nah.
Wow. Well, I guess it does happen.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah, but it does happen. And you have kids, right?
I have 4 boys.
4 boys. I got 3 sons also. So, do you try to get them to get into music, or you just let them do what they naturally are going to do?
All of them are artistic.
Okay.
My 2 youngest sons are very talented. But most people in the hip hop and rap community know who they are. The whole Detroit area knows who Mike Phelps is, and Microphone Phelps and Max the Realist. That's the name they go by. Their real names are Miles and Malcolm. But they are very. I mean, man, they when it comes down to spoken word and rap and all that, I mean, they're veterans now. Because I mean, my oldest, Miles is 38 or 37, something like that. And then my other son is 35, and so they're veterans in the rap game now. Now, to me, they're still young, but they're veterans. They're very well known. And my son plays the flute. My youngest son plays the flute, and the other one, Miles, he plays the piano. And then I have another son by the name of Jamal. He's really not an artist in the sense of like in music or anything, but he's very artistic in terms of his spoken word and being a host. And my oldest son is not into it, but those 3 are.
It's funny you have a son named Miles. I have a son named Miles. It's really strange, and he's about the same age. And they're rappers. My one son is in Tampa. He's a rapper, and the other one he's a beat creator. He creates beats for people.
What's your son's middle name? Miles's middle name.
Okay, here we go. His first name was supposed to have been Miles Devon Washington, but for some reason I was on a gig and I couldn't make it to when he was born. So his mother got mad, and she changed it to Devon Miles. So I thought we agreed. She said, "No, that's what you said. That's not what I said."
Say, I'm the one that laid down there and had this baby while you was out playing that bass.
Right.
Well, my son's middle name is Gabriel, so he's named after 2 trumpet players.
Okay, all right. So your health is your wealth. What do you feel about being healthy? Do you stay healthy? Are you eating right? Are you jogging? Are you riding bicycles? Swimming? What are you doing to
swimming?
Like you swim? Okay.
I swim, and I go to the gym occasionally, lift weights, and at one time I was really heavy into lifting weights a lot, but I'm overweight. I gotta get that down. I'm overweight, but I've been a pescatarian now for the past almost 50 years. Mm-hmm. So I haven't had any chicken, beef, pork, or anything like that. Just fish since 1975. But I'm still 230 some pounds. So I got to do a lot more to. But I'm fairly healthy. I got some issues, just like any older guy does. But for the most part, I'm in pretty good health, and I look pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Okay, yeah, you do look good. You're heavily involved in city council. Tell me your stake on Pontiac and city council and what's going on and how do you feel about it?
Well, for almost 25 years straight, myself and Kenny Anderson hardly ever missed a council meeting and prepared extensive speeches and spoke down there every week, sometimes waiting 3, 4 hours to speak.
Yeah.
And we would go down there, and some of the things we were speaking about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we were seen as heretics and and now words like institutionalized white supremacy. It's common to use that word now, but back then we were using words like white supremacy or colonialism, any of those kinds of things, and we were just lambasted. The mayor at the time they tried to get the attorney general to silence us, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean I can go on and on and on. So city council now has become um, uh, because I don't go as much, that particular presence of more revolutionary kind of thought. If myself is not there or Kenny doesn't go there, it kind of reverts back to the mundane business as usual. But with regard to politics and Pontiac, it's a microcosm of where America is. Uh, it's a game. It really is. It's a game. Corporate America is really who dictates public policy, not the
Mm-hmm.
politicians. They're more
That is
just
true.
puppets of corporate America.
That is true. So, given of the current administration that we have and cutbacks on DEI and all this other things that we cut back, has that had any effect on you in the music world, or any effect on you as far as grants or money and teaching? Or what's your thoughts on that, and where we going with this politic
Well, I mean, music and art is certainly not an island unto itself, and so take a look at the Kennedy Center. The Kennedy Center was really the citadel of high art. People being there, the Kennedy being awards, and Trump has taken that over and turned it into a shrine unto himself. And so, as far as art is concerned, what I fear and what I truly fear is the rate that we're going to end up like communist China at one point, to where artistic expression, where you're able to criticize or be critical of the American government and what they're doing, you will be censored, or you could either be put in jail or something like that. And we're going to really see in the future how we're going to experience what the Langston Hughes is, and the James Baldwins, and the Gil Scott Herons, and the Last Poets, and all these other people who, in the face of J. Edgar Hoover's FBI and the COINTEL program, still was able to have enough bravery to speak truth to power. I will be interested to see how these young people, because I haven't heard anything really where no song is critical of the president, no song is critical of the war. Now, you and I go back a ways. We know in the 60s and the early 70s, there was all kind of songs, The Undisputed Truth, war, what is it good for? I go on and on and on.
yeah, yeah,
We don't hear anything like that.
those songs?
So I have written a few that I'm going to be putting out. I guess at 68, what have I got to lose? But yeah, and so I do see that this government has really put the kibosh on artistic expression by default. No, they don't say it,
Yeah.
but they know that they put something out about Trump that they could risk losing their career. So a lot of these artists are not writing anything, or they're not publishing what they write.
That kind of answers the next question I want to ask: is what excites you most in this coming up with the music in today's society? So that you kind of hit on that right there, where we're going on your next move. You just, I was about to say, well, we should write a song about today's economy and what's going on, but you already said I've already got several songs in the
Yeah,
making.
as a matter of fact, you and I got to get together because I can't send them electronically. But I'd like to sit down with you one day and play you some of the stuff I've been writing, man.
Okay.
It's some of it's AI,
Okay.
and I would love and love to hear yours, man. I can only imagine that it's got to be bad, got to be hell of a.
It's it's my thing. I just think when we went to sequence music and a lot of people went solo and got rid of bands and everything, I just think it became very mechanical.
It did,
And
man.
it sounds great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's so it just there's no feel. I mean, I think accidentals or mistakes or just a little flow of everybody's different pulses just it makes the music breathe. And when you got everything perfect, letter perfect, it just sounds mechanical to me. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's McDonald's music. I mean, it's it's fast food music, man. It's like people say, man, that really sounds great. So does a McDonald's fish sandwich.
Okay.
It tastes great, but
Yeah.
it's garbage. So I mean, just because something sounds good doesn't mean it is good. Because our natural impulses as human beings is, particularly as Africans, as new
Yeah.
Africans, we respond to the beat.
Yeah.
We respond to beat. It doesn't matter that the person behind it is saying vulgar, nasty things, objectifying women, glorifying drug dealing, and glorifying
Yeah.
the fratricide of our own people. That's all well and good. We can excuse content for a beat. So yes, it's mechanical, but it's also some of it's very destructive. I think that there's nothing beats when you got several individuals on an instrument and that human connection that you cannot manufacture. There's no way on this world that if you get on that bass and I'm on my horn or I'm playing keyboards with you, and we have a moment together,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we've kind of gone beyond the instrument, and
Yeah.
we've connected as two human beings, two spiritual beings having a human experience,
Hmm.
and these instruments are just a way to get there, to meet beyond our bodies.
Yeah.
And you can't manufacture that, man.
No.
You can't. And so the problem is that the lines have been so blurred that these kids that are coming up, many of them don't know the difference. So it's like they're going to the dumpster to get their art, and then when you give them something from a fine restaurant, their taste buds are so aligned with the garbage that they think
Right.
the good food tastes bad. You dig?
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, we about to finish this up. I got one last question,
All
and this
right.
is the question I've asked every musician I've interviewed so far.
Okay.
The question is, dead or alive, who would you like to be on stage with? You know, that would be just that band that you want to be with. The greatness just bring you to tears. Who knows, whatever, or just excitement or smile or just who you can either be 5, 10 people you want to name or just be one other person that you want to be on stage with. Who would that be? Naming that band. What would that look like?
Lee Morgan.
Lee Morgan.
I would have loved to have stood next to Lee Morgan and Lee Morgan was was and is my influence on trumpet. I just think the world of his style, and he had that like popping a cork, like popping some champagne. He just had that real slick, real slick Mac kind of style on the trumpet. I liked him. Would love to have stood on the stage. I would have loved to have stood on the stage probably with uh, Dexter Gordon.
Okay.
To actually play next to him at trumpet and sax. I loved his great big sound. He had a beautiful big sound, and he had a sense of humor in his playing. And certainly, oh man, I would have, I would have given, I don't know what I would have given to stand on the stage, man, and be in James Brown's band. I would, because I'm gonna tell you, man, there is no better pocket. You will find no better pocket
You won't.
than Clyde Stubblefield and that band. They was tight as Dick's Hat Band. The bass player, he never deviated. He stayed in the groove, and him and the drummer were like this
Yeah.
pocket, man. I would love to stand in that pocket, even for 5 minutes, just stand in a pocket like that and just
Yeah.
be up in that pocket with them, man.
Right. 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 Well,
You know what I
let me
mean?
tell you, a quick. I took my dad back in the day. They were in Detroit at Shane Park, and he had two drummers, two keyboard players, two guitar players,
Yeah,
two bass players. He had two of everything
yeah,
on each side of him. Only one bass player played though, which is strange. The other bass player just stood on stage, never played a lick the whole session, whole
That's
show.
weird.
It was weird, which caught my attention.
Maybe he was a utility man. In case the bass player wore out, he was there to take it right up.
1,000, we come up with 1,000 reasons of what
Yeah.
it's all about. I don't know what it was, but on every song James did, everybody stood up. Everybody stood up, and then we'd sit down. He'd go to the next, oh, look, then he doing us. Everybody stood up. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be standing all night, sit down, standing up, sit down, standing up. I was like, oh my God, it was beautiful, man. I was so glad to see him in concert.
Yeah,
Been to
man.
James Brown concert?
No, man. I never had that pleasure, that honor to be exposed, to that kind of
Yeah,
energy. Mm-mm.
yeah. I don't think it's a lot of bands don't come up to Michigan. I don't know if they're saying it's too cold. I got family members. I'm from Kentucky. They don't want to come up here for a lot of various reasons, and they say it's too cold up there. I said, it's not cold in the summer. You come here. A lot of bands they seem to bypass. They go to New York and Chicago, but they don't know what is about Detroit. They don't always come to Detroit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
That
knows?
sounds. Who knows? Quincy Stewart. My man, I appreciate that. Man, nothing but love for you. I'm glad we was able to find a time to be
Yeah,
together.
man. Me too. Me too.
Oh my God. You had so many interesting things to say. A lot of people are gonna dig this, are gonna love this.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Man, it means a whole lot to me, man. So anything you need from me, or if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask.
Well, we're gonna get together, man, and do some. We're gonna do some musical things together, man. I think it's about that time.
Okay, I look forward to it. We got
All
each other's
right.
number.
All right.
Thank you so much.
My man.
Appreciate that, man.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. We just talked